Cashing Out continues on this inaugural show here on Labor Day, September 2nd. I'm Joe Ceraulo, and we're going to take it back to the progressive guest line and welcome in the second guest in the history of the show. You guys are going to get, I'm going to do that all the way up to our 99th guest. Let's hit that progressive guest line and welcome in, you know him from Sirius XM, my guy, Tony Cutillo. Tony, how you doing, man?
Doing great, Joe. I just appreciate it, man. It's an honor. Congratulations on the new show. And, I was on with you and Jarrett last week. Now back with you solo, man. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, let's feel good. Let's make the people some money. By the way, there's nothing for you to appreciate. I appreciate it's after midnight by you on the East Coast, man. I can't believe you made the time to join this show because you're just so dedicated to this industry and this space, and I can't wait. Let's educate some people. Let's make the people some money. Player prop market week 1. It's going to be exciting. Thursday night. Let's start there. Chiefs Ravens. I just, dove into this game at length in the last segment by myself here. Who gets into the end zone, Tony?
Oh man, listen, I was never Isiah Pacheco guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. For years I was off of him. I was off him. This year I am all Isiah Pacheco'd up, man. I love him. No competition for carries out there, man. One thing I know for Philadelphia is Andy Reid loves him a good running back. And when he entrusts his faith in a running back, it shows. And he didn't do anything this offseason. Don't give me this Samaje Perine. He's not doing nothing. This is all about Isiah Pacheco. And there's no doubt in my mind that he gets in the end zone in this game, especially because this is going to be, Thursday night football. There's really no preseason. These guys really haven't really grabbed the rock as much as we expect them to. So it's going to be a little bit of a mess. And I think he's going to get in the red zone and get in the end zone after that.
Yeah, got in the end zone against Baltimore in that AFC Championship game. Not many people saw the end zone in that one. 3 touchdowns. Pacheco was one of them, had 3 touchdowns, one in each of Kansas City's first 3 playoff games en route to their 3rd Super Bowl of this Mahomes-Reid era. You got another play in this Thursday night game, another running back in this Thursday night game. What do you like on the Ravens side of things?
Hey, you see that theme of the running, right? You say, listen, I love Derrick Henry this year. I think this is a reclamation year for Derrick Henry, a team that loves to run the ball. And here's the thing, when you're going up against a Kansas City offense, a potent offense, what do you want to do? You want to get that offense back on the sideline. You want to keep them off the field. How do you do that? Control the clock. So what's Baltimore going to do? Run the ball. Derrick Henry over 16.5 rushing attempts. Listen, I will be shocked if he gets under 20. I really will, because they have made, they've made it known that they do not want Lamar running as much as he used to. This is a team that wants to have a dynamic running game. They would dealt with a lot of injuries. Now they have the mainstay here in Derrick Henry. He's a beast, man. This offensive line is as good as it gets, and I have no doubt that they're going to try to slow that Kansas City offense down, keep them off the field, and just keep rushing the ball with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry has been so dominant for so long that people are starting to think he's old. And in running back years, he's older than you like, but he's still only 30. And this guy is such a physical specimen. There's no workload that's too much for Derrick Henry. I love this play a lot. Tony, before we get to your third and final player prop of week 1, it doesn't have to be an official best bet. It could be a lean, but I'm curious, since we got a Pacheco play and a Henry play. I'm on the Ravens +3 Thursday night. Do you have a lean on a side or a money line play in this one?
You know what? I'm going to go with you, man. I'm going to ride the +3. It's the Super Bowl hangover. I say it all the time. Thursday night football, too. It's so tough. They exert so much energy the entire year to get to that dance. And sometimes it takes a couple weeks. The Chiefs started off slow last year for the first couple games. So I would not be, remiss if they don't do the same thing. So I like the +3 for the Ravens. Absolutely.
I love it. I mean, it should be a tight one. That AFC Championship game was so tight. Both defenses were phenomenal. Zay Flowers doesn't mess up with that fumble, maybe it's a different outcome, right? So, if you're catching a field goal, to me, that's the move in this one. He's Tony Cutillo joining us on the Progressive Guest Line. You know him from Sirius XM. Follow him on socials at Rise with Tony, Rise with a Z. And if you know Tony, you know that he's always got a bet for his Philadelphia Eagles worked in. I think when Jared and I had him on a couple weeks ago, there were like 6 Eagles futures. I was like, how can you have this many futures on players from the same team? What is your play for Friday night Eagles Packers in Brazil? What do you like, Tony?
Oh man, can you see the Philly buys coming out? I know. I can't help it, man. I can't help it. Listen, when you cover a team, you're close to a team, you just see different things. They stick out. And one thing that sticks out to me is Jalen Hurts looks like a completely different quarterback this year. He is quicker, he's faster, he's healthier, he's moving around. And everybody knows he's going to run less this year. They bring in Saquon Barkley. I get it. But here's the thing, he's going to get so much open space in this game with this Green Bay Packers defense that there's no doubt in my mind he could take off 2 times and he could run for 20 to 25 yards at a clip. So I really expect, especially in this game for Jalen Hurts, he's probably going to get 50 or 60 to be honest with you, because there's going to be so much. Right, you know how this goes, Joe. You got, who are you going to cover? You're going to Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, Saquon
Spread
Barkley.
the field, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you've got AJ and Devontae, guys that you have to every single snap be cautious about them getting behind you, that spreads the field. That leaves a lot of open real estate, man. Especially if you think he's going to go for 50 or 60. You see the odds there. If you're watching us at home on your screen, you're getting plus money for 40, essentially over 39.5. That is good stuff right there. Great value all over that board. Pacheco, Henry, Hurts, all plus money plays. We love a plus money play. Tony, I want to shift gears a little bit here. And I obviously love hitting and attacking the prop market, but I don't have an extensive background. Frankly, I don't have any background in daily fantasy. Now, there is, of course, a big correlation between daily fantasy and the prop market. So give us your great fantasy value plays for week 1. And, just dive in. How can that correlate to the prop market for someone like me who bets props but not daily fantasy? How can you use both of these to really play off each other nicely?
Yeah, listen, it's a great correlation. It really is, because when you go and dive into daily fantasy, obviously everybody has a number value, right? So not only do you have a number value, but you have an ownership percentage value. So you can kind of see, just like with bets, how much the money's coming in on one side or the other. You can see how many ownership numbers are coming in from one side or the other, right? So the correlation is almost exactly the same the way you dive into the prop market. And the way you really win at DFS is finding those values. Just like we have those plus money, you want to find the values in these players. So, for instance, a top quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, you're looking at 9,000, 8,900 for a quarterback with a $50,000 cap. Well, Geno Smith for me, whether it be season long or DFS this week, is a tremendous play. He's only 5,500 in DFS, which means for like $4,000 less, you're going to get almost 80 to 90% of the same value you would get from an elite quarterback. That's going to cost you a lot more. So I love Geno Smith. Listen, this offense again, they have a lot of cohesion. You have a guy in JSN, looks like he's ready to step up. Kenneth Walker being very overlooked in a lot of drafts. So I love Geno Smith. And again, over 3 of his last 5 games, he was over 20 plus. So that's a really good one to get. And then I like Ramondre Stevenson. I love, again, a lot of these running backs are high priced. You get Ramondre Stevenson under 6,000. He's a bell cow. He's a bell cow with a quarterback as Jacoby Brissett right now, who's not going to throw the ball a ton. We've already seen that in Cleveland, right? So he's going to get the rock. And then let's shift to Calvin Ridley. Tons of targets. He's only 5,800 with a quarterback and Will Levis who can sling it. And again, a more pass-oriented offense without Derrick Henry. And last but not least, let's get a little ex-Philly love in here with Zach Ertz going to the Commanders, only 3,600. Oh, and by the way, his prop is over 2.5 at minus 115 for receptions. There's no way that's a lock in my book, Joe.
Ooh, 2.5. How about, I'm curious, and I don't have this in front of me. I wonder what his touchdown odds would be. A veteran tight end is a rookie quarterback's best friend. Zach Ertz and Jaden Daniels are going to love each other this season, man. I'm high. Look, I'm a Giants fan. I got nothing to look forward to. I'm high on watching Jaden Daniels in this.
Neighbors.
Neighbors is great, but can anyone get him the ball? Can Danny, I can't even call him Danny Dimes sarcastically, because can Danny Jones get him the ball? I think the Commanders could play spoiler to quite a few teams. I think it's more likely they play spoiler to the Cowboys this year than to your Eagles. Tony, fantastic stuff. Final 10 seconds here, because you mentioned Geno. I'm high on him. I love that word you used, cohesion, with all the returning skill players there. Seahawks, I got him at plus 185 to make the playoffs. Do you like it or not? 5 seconds or less.
I do like it. I think they're very underrated. Great team, good offense. I'm all in.
And that's why we're going to have him back on the show as the season goes on. Tony Cutillo, follow him, Rise with Tony. Cashing Out continues right after the break.